windowsill today, turning all the quiet dust to little flakes of gold. Street below was waking slow, the sparrows knew the way, and April stood outside my room, gentle, bright, and bold. I heard the kettle breathing soft, the curtains lean and sway, the flowers in a glass jar caught the first forgiving sun, and every ordinary thing seemed lifted by the day, as if the world had learned again how tenderness is done. I have carried winter in the corners of my chest, in the unsent letters, in the tiredness, in the rest. But light can move so quietly and still undo the stone, and spring can knock so softly that the heart becomes a home. April on the windowsill, stay a little while, turn my room to something warm and teach my face to smile. Let the old gray thinking fade like rain on painted glass. Let the brighter hours enter slow and let the dark one pass. April on the windowsill, bloom in every scene, make a little heaven out of all the in-between. If the world can start again with sunlight, leaf, and rain, then maybe I can open to and learn to grow again. I walked into the kitchen where the floor was washed with light. The air still held the scent of sleep, of tea and morning bread. Outside, the little neighborhood was turning green and bright, with tulips by the corner shop and blossom overhead. A bicycle went ringing by, a child laughed in the lane, a woman shook a tablecloth and petals crossed the yard, and all at once I felt the thaw beneath the quiet pain, like something long forgotten beating softly through the heart. No thunder needed, no dramatic summer flame, just one open window and the day no longer same. Just one small cup of sweetness and a branch against the sky. Just 1 hour where the soul remembers how to try. April on the windowsill, remain in everything, in the steam above the teacup, in the pale green of the spring, in the courage of the daffodils, in the shine along the street, in the way a wounded heart can still be taught to beat. April on the windowsill, I know your tender art. You do not force the world to bloom, you simply warm the heart, and in that patient golden light, where softer days begin, you place your hand upon the glass and let the whole world in. April on the windowsill, April in the room, April in the smallest things that quiet resume. The rain had written.  10 silver lines across the sleeping town. and left the sidewalk shining like a promise newly found. And when the clouds were opening, the petals started falling, pink and white confessions in the hush of early morning. The trees looked almost weightless with the water on their hands. The sky was rinsed to softness over roofs and garden lands, and every puddle held a little broken piece of blue, like spring was making mirrors out of everything we knew. There is a mercy in the weather after tears are through, a gentler kind of beauty when the world turns bright and new, a quiet way of saying that the earth still understands how to hold the storm and answer back with flowers in its hands. Petals after rain, falling through the light, turning every passing street to something clear and bright. Petals after rain, drifting slow and free, teaching broken afternoons a softer way to be. If the earth can drink the storm and still return in bloom, then maybe there is hope for all the shadows in this room. Petals after rain, carry all my fear away, leave only light and color on the edges of the day. I walked beside the bookshop where the awning still was wet. The florist moved her buckets out, the roses bowed their heads. A bus pulled up with foggy glass, the driver hummed a tune, and somewhere from an open door there spilled a silver spoon against a cup, against a laugh, against a life beginning. The city felt less like a race and more like soft forgiving, and all the hurt I wore for months loosened in the breeze, like winter had been holding on, but spring had found the keys. Let the gutters sing, let the sparrows shake their wings, let the dripping branches bless the little living things. Let the wet earth breathe, let the hidden roots remain. There is beauty in the trembling of the petals after rain. Petals after rain, I will remember you in the silver on the rooftops and the washed out shades of blue, in the hush before the laughter, in the calm before the sun, in the feeling that the hardest part is maybe finally done. Petals after rain, write your kindness on my name, show me how to hold the sorrow without hardening the same. And if tomorrow clouds again, I'll trust what I have seen. The brightest kind of tenderness can rise from what has been. Petals after rain, still falling slow, a softer world returning where the tired rivers go.
Sunday came in linen light across the kitchen floor. The radio was humming low, the windows open more. The air was full of lemon tea and roses from the yard. And nothing in the world that day felt urgent, sharp or hard. The neighbors moved like watercolor beyond the garden gate. A dog asleep beneath a chair, a bicycle running late. The sky hung over everything in clean and patient blue. And all the quiet in the house kept sounding close to you. No fireworks, no thunder, no wild and reckless sign. Just warmth on wooden tabletops and your fingers close to mine. The kind of love that doesn't ask the whole wide world to see, because it blooms in little rooms and still changes everything. Sunday blooms stay in the room. Stretch the afternoon beneath your soft perfume. Sunday bloom, calm and bright. Teach the restless clock to loosen in the light. If heaven ever visits in a simple earthly way, maybe it is bread and tea and sunshine on a day where all the tired edges blur and every fear makes room for the small and holy sweetness of a Sunday bloom. Washed the cups, we folded cloth, we leaned against the sink. We talked of places we might go and dreams we still could think. The jasmine at the windowsill had started opening wide, and little winds kept lifting up the curtains like a tide. A child was singing down the block, a train moved through the town. A cloud passed by so lazily it hardly darkened down. And all the world outside the house seemed gentle, near and kind, as if the season had decided peace was still alive. Stay longer, little hour, stay longer in my chest. Not every joy must race away to prove that it was best. Some joys arrive in slippers and soft light and quiet air, and leave behind a steadier heart because they happen there. Sunday bloom, remain with me in the scent of basil, in the lace of willow trees, in the folded hand towels, in the records on the shelf, in the way a day can make a person more themselves. Sunday bloom, warm and slow, a lesson in the beauty of not needing much to glow. And if the week grows heavy with its hurry and its noise, I'll keep this room inside of me like one of spring's own joys. Sunday bloom, quiet and true. The house kept all its sunlight because it kept you too. The roadside filled with yellow, like the earth caught a flame. Not fierce, not wild, but tender in its cheerful little claim. 1,000 daffodils were leaning toward the open noon, as if the fields had heard a song and learned to bloom in tune. The air was lightly sugared by the grass and warming rain. The clouds moved like forgotten thoughts across the softened plain. And every step beside that gold felt somehow less alone, as if the bright small flowers knew the places I had known. How can something so fragile stand against the cold so long, then rise in yellow choirs and turn the silence into song? Maybe courage isn't thunder, maybe it is something small that still lifts up its face to light after surviving all. Daffodil afternoon, bright beneath the blue, you turn the tired season into something fresh and true. Daffodil afternoon, shining at my feet, you made the quiet fields and all my thoughts feel sweet. If the world can fill with yellow after all the winter through, then maybe there is sunlight waiting in me too. Daffodil afternoon, stay in every room and teach my hidden heart the patient way to bloom. A fence leaned toward the meadow, an old barn held the breeze. A swallow cut a silver line between the waking trees. The distant hill was wearing green like cloth just newly sewn, and everything that once looked bare had found another tone. I thought about the harder months, how long the cold can stay, how easy it is in the dark to think the world won't change. But here were fields of yellow set against a fearless sky, and all my old conclusions felt too narrow to survive. Let the flowers be a sermon, let the sunlight be a guide. Let the smallest living color undo what winter lied. Not by force, not all at once, but row by row and true, till the whole land learns the language of beginning something new. Daffodil afternoon, bright as mercy's hand, scattered through the open fields and all across the land. Daffodil afternoon, warm against the gray, you showed me how a softer joy can still outshine a day. And if tomorrow asks me whether hope is only small, I'll think of yellow flowers standing gently through it all. Daffodil afternoon, wherever I may roam, you made the earth feel possible and spring feel close to home. Daffodil afternoon, still in my eyes, a little yellow answer under wider skies. Under wider skies. We stood beneath a cherry sky where petals crossed the air. The branches made 1,000 soft confessions everywhere. A pink and breathing ceiling over streets too gray before. A tender kind of miracle
above the city's roar. The light moved through the blossoms like a secret being told. The day was thin with sweetness and the wind was mild and slow. And every falling petal seemed to know just where to land. Like even chance was gentle in that springtime hour we had. I used to think that beauty had to ask the world for more, for thunder in the heavens or a heartbreak at the door. But sometimes all it needs is bloom and one unguarded gaze, and suddenly the ordinary is lit from inner haze. Cherry sky again, open over me, turn the crowded avenues to soft serenity. Cherry sky again, pink across the blue. Keep this little springtime like a promise I can use when the colder thoughts return and darker evenings start. I will hold your falling petals in the orchard of my heart. Cherry sky again, drift your tender light and make the whole world gentler in the middle of the night. Your voice was almost quieter than the pollen in the trees. Your smile was like the first warm day that stirs the hidden leaves. The traffic blurred to far away, the storefront seemed to glow, and all the usual noise of life grew sweeter, running slow. I didn't ask for forever there, I only asked for true, for one clear hour of breathing in a world remade by bloom. And that was somehow more enough than grander dreams could be, because the petals taught the air a softer way to speak. Falling slow, falling bright, little blossoms in the light. Teach me how to let things pass without believing joy won't last. Cherry sky again, return when I forget that even fleeting beauty leaves a faithful silhouette in the open hand of memory, in the quiet after rain, in the color of the branches when the world grows kind again. Cherry sky again, wide above the town. You turn my fear of endings to a pink and floating crown. And if I lose my way someday, I'll lift my eyes and see 1,000 gentle petals still descending over me. Cherry sky again, soft and high. Love looked almost weightless beneath that painted sky. The trees were only starting just to whisper into green, a half-made kind anything between. The leaves were still translucent where the morning passed through them, and all the air felt rinsed and new like porcelain at the rim. I walked the lane behind the school where grass climbed over stone. The earth was full of waking roots in silence of its own, and every little growing thing seemed patient, brave, and clear, as if the world was saying, it is safe to soften here. No season blooms in hurry, no branch becomes by force. The green arrives in whispers and still changes every course. And maybe healing looks like that, not sudden, not complete, but steady as a morning finding sunlight in the leaves. Soft green morning, breathe in me. Unfold the places winter kept too tired to believe. Soft green morning, clear and mild. Teach the troubled part of me to rest a little while. If growth can be this quiet and still remake the view, then maybe there is room in me for gentler things to do. Soft green morning, stay until I see that becoming does not have to be loud to set me free. A gardener by the churchyard knelt beside a row of thyme. A robin hopped the fence rail like it knew the proper time. The bell tower held the sunlight on its weathered copper side, and every sound was softened by the breeze and waking sky. I thought about the many ways a person tries to mend, by speed, by noise, by outrunning the ache that doesn't end. But here the green was teaching me another kind of art, to let the light arrive in layers and lay a leaf upon the heart. Slowly, softly, row by row. That is how the small things grow. That is how the roots hold fast. That is how the cold is past. Soft green morning, fill the land. In the ivy on the brick wall, in the clover by my hand, in the shadows growing lighter, in the breath that I release, in the proof that tiny changes are the architecture of peace. Soft green morning, now I know the earth does not need thunder to become a tender glow. And if I trust your patient light and all your hidden trees, I too may learn the quiet strength of opening by degrees. Soft green morning, leaf and air, a thousand soft beginnings everywhere.
along the narrow hall. Across the picture frames, the books, the shadows on the wall. The day was leaving gently with its hands still full of light, and every room was wearing spring like silk before the night. A vase of lilacs by the stairs was filling up the air. Their fragrance made the quiet feel less empty, less severe. And all the worn out corners of the house turned soft and deep, as if the dusk had found a way to bless what could not sleep. There is a kind of healing in the closing of the day, when nothing has to prove itself and light still wants to stay. A hallway full of violet, a floor of wood and gold, and all the hearts of loneliness, not nearly quite so cold. Lavender hallway, keep me near, where evening turns the ordinary beautifully clear. Lavender hallway, slow and wide, make a little sanctuary out of coming night. If peace can live in passing light and fragrance on the stair, then maybe all I needed was this softened springtime air. Lavender hallway, hold me till I see how the quietest of beauty can be enough for me. Front door clicked, the kettle sang, the lamps came on in gold. A cardigan hung from the rail like a memory to hold. Outside the street was cooling down beneath the darkening blue, but inside every little thing kept breathing close to true. No grand event had happened there, no thunder rolled above, just lilac dusk and slow release and almost wordless love. And still it felt enormous in its calm and fragrant grace, to find that spring could build a home in one familiar place. Let the day go dim, let the stars grow near, let the rooms remember why they held us here. Let the flowers speak in the language of the air. There is gentleness enough if we are willing to be there. Lavender hallway, now remain in the hush between the footsteps and the whisper of the rain, in the scent that fills the stairwell, in the glow along the floor, in the way the darkest thinking doesn't close the door. Lavender hallway, violet and kind, you gathered all the scattered parts and eased my racing mind. And if tomorrow asks too much, I'll close my eyes and see a spring-lit hall of lilacs waiting quietly for me.
Lavender Hallway, evening in bloom. Spring stood in the doorway
And softened every room.
There's a corner in the city where the tulips line the road. Buckets full of orange, pink, and white beneath the morning glow. The florist lifts the shutters, sets the flowers in a row. And suddenly the whole gray block forgets its winter tone. A tram goes sighing past the square, the cafe wipes its chairs. The chalkboard menu leans outside into the gentle air. And every passing stranger seems a little less alone on Tulip Street where spring arrives as if it's always known. I like the way the colors gather where the traffic used to feel like nothing more than hurry and the hard edge of the wheel. Now even engines sound softer when the pedals meet the breeze, and all the city learns to breathe in floral harmonies. Tulip Street, wake the town, lift the tired windows and the heavy faces up. Tulip Street, bright and sweet, turn the march of weekdays to a springtime kind of beat. If love can look like flower stalls opening in the sun, then maybe every ordinary road can hold someone. Tulip Street, stay beneath my feet, a little lane where hope and color happen to meet. I bought a simple paper wrap of tulips for the room, carried them beneath the branches, shedding tiny April bloom. A violin was playing near the steps of the old bank, and children drew a sidewalk chalk in every open space. The world felt less mechanical, less sharp, less overdrawn, as if the morning had erased the harder lines with dawn. And somewhere in that easy light I felt my shoulders fall, the way they do when spring decides to be enough for all. Orange, pink, and white, under noon's pale light, teach me how to carry joy without holding on too tight. Tulip Street, bloom for me in the market noise, the tram bells, and the moving harmony. In the folded paper wrapping, in the green against the stone, in the truth that even cities can feel tender as a home. Tulip Street, bright and near, you took the rush of living and made space for wonder here. And if I lose my way among the avenues I keep, I'll follow color back to where the spring runs through the street. Tulip Street, morning's own song, a place where all my tiredness didn't have to stay for long. drops in lines of amber gold. The breeze came through the open screen and moved the lace aside, like spring had entered quietly and set the room alive. There was a bowl of peaches ripening near the sink, a stack of books beside the chair with pressed flowers in between, and every single little thing felt lit from somewhere deep, as if the day had learned to glow without a need to speak. Some seasons shout they're coming, but this one only sings in softened air and glowing dust and all the gentlest things. And I can feel my spirit loosening where the warm light lies, like shutters in a little house beneath forgiving skies. Honeylight breeze, stay with me. Move through all the quiet rooms and set the old heart free. Honeylight breeze, warm and slow. Teach me how the smallest joys can still become a glow. If peace can come in golden air and not in grand design, then let this hour be enough. Let this sunlight be mine. Honeylight breeze, pass through everything and leave the house and all of me in tune with spring. Outside, a distant lawnmower hummed like summer not yet born. A sparrow perched upon the wire and tried a newer song. The shadows of the climbing vines were swaying on the wall, and time itself seemed softer there, less heavy as it fell. I thought of all the days I'd spent running from the ache, mistaking noise for aliveness, mistaking speed for change. But spring had found another path through open window panes to warm the heart by little degrees and sweeten all its name. Let the breeze lift, let the leaves turn, let the light rest where the old hurts burn. Let the afternoon teach what no hurry sees. The soul can heal inside a honeylight breeze. Honeylight breeze, now remain in the woven chair, the fruit bowl, and the branches after rain. In the drifting lace, the quiet glass, the shadows on the floor. In the way a simple moment can become so much more. Honeylight breeze, bless the day and all the parts of me that slowly came unstayed. For I have learned the kindest things are often these: a room, a little sunlight, and a honeylight breeze. Honeylight breeze, honeylight breeze, softly through. Spring made the whole house feel almost new. was wearing blue like cloth beneath the sun. The willows bent like listening hands, the water loosened on. The path beside it glittered where the last rain hadn't dried. And every passing cyclist looked lit from the inside. The cafe by the bridge had set its tables to the air. A waiter wiped the glasses down, geraniums were there. And all the city seemed to pause along the moving stream, as if the flowing water had rewritten every scene. Some days arrive as answers before the questions leave. Some days return the breath to you and ask you just to be. The river had that kindness in its green and silver way, a steady little miracle written into May. River in May, carry me slow past the heavier thinking and the places sorrow grows. River in May, wide and bright, take the burden from my shoulders in your moving light. If healing has a rhythm, if grace can have a sound, maybe it is footsteps where the water circles round. River in May, keep your patience on, and teach the tired heart in me how to keep moving on. A violin began somewhere beneath the stone arcade. Its notes ran out across the bank like sunlight into shade. A couple shared an umbrella though the rain was long since gone. A child let dandelions loose and watched the seeds move on. The world was not transformed completely, not free of pain or fear, but in that hour it felt less hard to simply linger here. And I could feel the current saying, without a word or plea, you do not have to stop to rest, you may move gently free. Let the water show me how to bend without breaking now, to hold the sky, to keep the course, to trust the soft unhurried force. River in May, stay in my chest like a silver answer to the ache that needed rest. Like willow shade on troubled thoughts, like blue on tired stone, like proof that even moving things can still feel close to home. River in May, long and kind, I will keep your open weather in the corners of my mind. And if the darker months return with all they used to say, I'll walk beside your memory and find my way through May.
Park bench knows the shape of spring before the city does. It catches early sunlight through the branches overhead. It hears the sparrows test their songs before they become chorus, and holds the first warm afternoons where winter's weight is fled. Its paint is chipped, its wood is worn, but still it waits in grace. Beside the pond, beside the path, beside the open space. And all the people passing by bring stories in their sleeves, while blossoms drift like little notes from waking cherry trees.
I sat there with my coffee while the world turned green by inch, and thought of all the ways a life can soften at the hinge. No grand event, no shouted truth, just weather growing mild. And suddenly the heart remembers how to rest a while.
The park bench knows, the park bench sees how April warms the hands and loosens all the leaves. The park bench knows, the park bench stays through every passing sorrow and the kinder springtime days. If peace is something simple that the hurried overlook, maybe it is waiting in a weathered little nook. The park bench knows, and so do I. Some healing comes by sitting still beneath a clearer sky.
An older man fed breadcrumbs to the ducks along the pond. A mother tied her daughter's hair with ribbons pale and long. Two students spread their notes out where the sunlight reached the grass.
And someone read a paperback and let the whole day pass. The tulips by the bandstand held their colors to the breeze. A dog ran through the dandelions with ridiculous delight. And all the borrowed troubles in my chest grew less severe, because the day kept offering proof that gentleness was here. Wood and iron, paint and time, still you keep this piece of mine. Little seat beneath the tree, holding more than furniture should be. The park bench knows the patient art of giving tired minds a place to set their heavier hearts. The park bench knows the slow return of green to every branch and light to everything that's worn. And if tomorrow rushes me or summer grows too loud, I'll remember spring on painted slats beneath a moving cloud. The park bench knows, and now I know that stillness can be one more way a soul learns how to grow. That needs a softer pace.
I wrote you wildflower letters in the language of the field, in butter yellow, violet blue, and everything that yields. No envelope could hold them, no stamp could make them go. So I left them in the meadow where the freer blossoms grow. The wind would read them softly through the grass above the hill. The bees would hum the chorus and the clouds would wander still. And every uncultivated bloom would carry one more line of all the little things I meant and could not say in time. Not every truth belongs in ink, not every love in speech. Some are better trusted to the earth and sky and breeze. Some are made of color where no rigid garden plan. Some are written by the weather on the open handle land. Wildflower letters scattered through the green, sky, saying what the guarded heart could never codify. If love can grow untended and still rise with such grace, then maybe all the truest things need more of sky than walls. Wildflower letters, bright and wandering free, carry all my hidden words through spring and back to me. A train moved faintly in the distance, somewhere past the pines. The road ran silver by the field and disappeared in light. I lay beside the clover where the warm earth met my sleep, and felt the whole alive world breathe in patience through the leaves. I thought of all the polished ways we try to make things last, by naming them too quickly, by designing them too fast. But the wildflowers never ask to be remembered by demand. They simply bloom and trust their beauty to the weather and the land. Yellow, white, and blue, little truths that grew in the places no one ruled, and every honest color knew. Wildflower letters, now I understand why the freest forms of beauty never need a firmer hand. Why the sweetest kind of longing often speaks in fields and air. Why the gentlest kind of love is often simply there. Wildflower letters, blown from hill to hill, you taught me how to offer what is quiet, bright, and real. And if no one ever reads you line by line the way I planned, the spring will keep my meaning in the flowers of the land. Wildflower letters, loose and true, the meadow read my heart and somehow always knew. Maylight on the floorboards, gold across the grain, soft as if the morning had been filtered through the rain. The whole room held a hush that felt too lovely to disturb, like every ray of sunlight had arrived with careful words. A book lay half open on the blanket by the bed, a cardigan over the chair, pale petals by the edge, and all the little traces of an ordinary day looked holy in the honey of the warm and moving shade. I used to think that beauty had to dazzle to be real, but now I see it settling in the quiet where we heal. Not all grace is thunder, not all wonder fills the sky. Sometimes it's just light on wood and a softer state of mind. Maylight on the floor, stay a little more, turn the silent corners into something warm and sure. Maylight on the floor, bright but never loud, like a little piece of heaven slipping gently through the house. If peace can come in angled gold and stillness through the blinds, and let this afternoon remain in the rooms and inside my mind. Maylight on the floor, soft as breathing air. You make the whole world kinder just by falling there. Outside the open window, someone laughed below the street. A dog barked once and then went still beneath the growing heat. The branches by the building cast a lacework on the wall, and the season moved through everything without a need to call. I thought about the colder months, the way they made me small. The dimmed out days, the early dark, the silence in the hall. But spring had answered differently than I had thought it would. Not with one dramatic miracle, but with light across the wood. The gentlest things can find us when we finally loosen pace. A passing hour of sunlight, a room made full of grace, and all the parts that worried they had hardened past repair begin to soften slowly in the brightness resting on mine. Maylight on the floor, stay a little more, turn the silent corners into something warm and sure. Maylight on the floor, bright but never loud, like a little piece of heaven slipping gently through. The house of peace can come in angled golden stillness through the blinds. Then let this afternoon remain the rooms inside my mind. Maylight on the floor, soft as breathing air. You make the whole world kinder just by falling there. Let the shadows lengthen slowly, let the afternoon grow deep. Let the room remember tenderness in everything it keeps. Let the floorboards hold the sunlight, let the silence hold the song. Let this little golden moment teach me where I still belong. Maylight on the floor, now I understand why the smallest forms of beauty can so steady trembling hands. Why a house can feel like healing when the daylight enters right. Why an ordinary afternoon can glow with such a light. Maylight on the floor, keep your golden tone when the future feels uncertain and the darker thoughts return. I'll remember how you rested there, gentle, warm and sure, and how a little sunlight could become a cure. Maylight on the floor, quiet in the room. Spring wrote all its kindness in a beam of gold at noon. Spring, stay a while beside the house and through the garden gate. Stay upon the windowsills and in the light that falls so late. Stay in every blossom drifting through the softened afternoon. Stay in every quiet room that learned to breathe again and bloom. Stay where the daffodils are waking by the fence in yellow rose. Stay where the basil on the sill and climbing ivy grows. Stay in the teacup steam, the lace, the birds above the lane. Stay in the shining pavement after one brief silver rain. You came without a trumpet, without a grand parade, just warmer in the morning and gentler in the shade. And somehow that was enough to change the shape of things. to make the tired heart remember what it means to sing. Spring, stay a while, don't hurry through. Leave a little gold in every ordinary view. Spring, stay a while, bright and slow, in the petals and the breezes and the places new leaves grow. If all I ever needed was a softer kind of light, a branch in bloom, an open room, a sky washed clear and white, then spring, stay a while, long enough to show how even quiet beauty can help a whole heart grow. Stay in the market, flowers wrapped in pale and paper white. Stay in the river, moving blue beneath the longer light. Stay in the bicycles and cafes opening to the square. Stay in the tiny mercies drifting lightly through the air. Stay in the afternoons when everything turns honey at the edge. Stay in the lilac evening, leaning violet through the hedge. Stay in the way the old heart thoughts lose weight in greener days. Stay in the little proof that life still finds the tender ways. I know no season lingers forever in one form. I know the sky keeps turning and summer will be born. But while you're here among us in branch and field and rain, teach me how to carry your softness when you wane. Spring, stay a while, don't hurry through. Leave a little gold in every ordinary view. Spring, stay a while, bright and slow, in the petals and the breezes and the places new leaves grow. If all I ever needed was a softer kind of light, a branch in bloom, an open room, a sky washed clear and white, then spring, stay a while, long enough to show how even quiet beauty can help a whole heart grow. Or stay in the window opened after months of keeping closed. Stay in the rose that climbs the wall, the orchard in its white. Stay in the hand that reaches out without demanding more. Stay in the voice that learns to speak more gently than before. And when you must keep moving toward another turning sky, leave your music in the floorboards, leave your color in my mind, leave your weather in my breathing, leave your green in what I do. So when the colder hours come, I still can carry you. Spring, stay a while, now I can see you were never only fields and flowers. You were changing me in the air, across the curtains, in the warmth upon the stair, in the humble healing language of the mild and living air. Spring, stay a while, even if you fade. Leave your tender architecture in the rooms your sunlight made, for I will keep your little miracles in everything I know. stay a while, one last time. In the daisy, in the teacup, in the branch beginning lime. And when the season turns again, I'll still remember how you taught the world and taught my heart to open gently.